I never used to believe that sounds could be haunted. A noise is just vibration, right? Air moving, molecules bumping into each other. There's nothing supernatural about a creaking floorboard or a humming refrigerator. That's what I told myself the first time I heard the whistling. I was wrong. It started on a Tuesday. I was in my apartment alone, making dinner. The window was open. It was summer, and the air was thick and wet. I heard it from outside, a tune, someone whistling. Not a song I recognized, just a melody, simple, repetitive. 4 notes up, 4 notes down. Like a nursery rhyme that had been stripped of its words. I looked out the window. The street was empty. No pedestrians, no cars, no one standing under the streetlight. The whistling continued. It sounded like it was coming from the alley behind my building. I leaned out, craning my neck. Nothing, just dumpsters and trash bags and a stray cat. The whistling stopped. I closed the window. I went back to my pasta. I forgot about it. The next night, I heard it again. Same tune, same 4 notes. But this time, it was closer. It wasn't coming from the alley. It was coming from the hallway outside my apartment door. I lived on the 4th floor. The hallway was carpeted, lined with 6 other doors. I put my eye to the peephole entry, just the beige walls and the flickering light at the end of the hall. The whistling stopped. I heard footsteps. Soft, slow, moving away down the stairs. I didn't follow. The 3rd night, I was in bed. It was after midnight. The whistling started in my living room. I sat up. My heart was pounding. I grabbed the baseball bat I kept under my bed and crept to the bedroom door. I opened it. The living room was dark. The streetlight outside cast a pale glow through the blinds. I could see the couch, the coffee table, the television. No one was there, but the whistling was. It came from the corner near the window, from the shadow between my bookshelf and the wall. I turned on the light. Nothing. Just books and dust and the faint outline of a handprint on the wall. A handprint that wasn't mine. I moved the bookshelf. Behind it, carved into the drywall, were the words, "I've been here before. I called the police. They came. They looked. They filed a report. They said it was probably a prank. A neighbor with a key. A maintenance worker with too much time. They said to change my locks. I did. The whistling didn't stop. It got worse. It came from inside my walls. I'd be sitting at my desk and I'd hear it. Faint, muffled like someone was standing in the space between the studs. I'd put my ear to the plaster and the whistling would stop. I'd pull away and it would start again. Always the same 4 notes, up and down. Up and down, I started recording it. I'd leave my phone on the kitchen counter with the voice memo app running. Every morning, I'd listen to the recordings. At first, there was nothing. Just the hum of the refrigerator, the groan of the pipes, the distant sound of traffic. Then, on the 4th night, I caught it. 3 in the morning. A soft whistle. So faint I had to turn the volume all the way up. 4 notes. Then silence, but there was something else on the recording. After the whistling stopped, I heard a voice, a whisper, 1 word. My name. I played it again, clearer this time. My name. Then a laugh, soft, almost kind. I moved out of that apartment 2 weeks later. I broke my lease. I paid a penalty. I didn't care. I found a new place on the other side of the city, in a building with thick walls and no history. I told myself the whistling was behind me. For a month, it was. Then I started hearing it at work, in the stairwell. I'd be walking down from the 5th floor, and I'd hear it. Faint, echoing, coming from somewhere below. I'd stop. The whistling would stop. I'd keep walking. It would start again. Always the same 4 notes. I asked my coworkers if they'd heard anything. They looked at me like I was crazy. I stopped asking. I started sleeping with earplugs. I started sleeping with the lights on. I started sleeping on my couch because my bedroom felt too big, too empty, too full of spaces where us hide. It didn't help. I'd wake up because the whistling was inside my earplugs, inside my head. 4 notes, up and down, and then the whisper, my name. The laughed. I went to a doctor. He said I had tinnitus. He said I had stress-induced auditory hallucinations. He gave me pills. I took them. The whistling got louder. I went to a priest. He said I had a demon. He said he could perform an exorcism. I said yes. He came to my apartment. He sprinkled holy water. He prayed in Latin. The whistling stopped for 3 days. On the 4th day, it came back, louder than before. And now there were 2 voices, the whisper and the laugh, and something else, footsteps. Walking through my apartment while I lay frozen in bed, I saw him once, just once. It was 3 in the morning. The whistling had stopped. The footsteps had stopped. Everything was quiet. I opened my eyes. He was standing at the foot of my bed. He was tall, thin, wearing a gray suit that looked like it had been made 100 years ago. His face was pale. His eyes were dark and his mouth was open. Not wide, just slightly, like he was about to whistle. He didn't move. He didn't speak. He just stood there, looking at me. And then he smiled. It was the saddest smile I've ever seen. The smile of someone who had been waiting for a very long time. I closed my eyes. When I opened them, he was gone. That was 6 months ago. I've moved 3 times since then. I've changed my name. I've stopped using my phone. I've stopped using the internet. I live in a cabin in the woods, 50 miles from the nearest neighbor. There are no walls for him to hide in, no stairwells for his footsteps to echo, but I still hear him. Not every night, just some nights the same 4 notes. Up and down, and then the whisper, my name, and then the laugh. Last night I heard something new. After the laugh he spoke. Not a whisper, a voice, clear and calm. "You can't run," he said. "I'm not in the walls. I'm not in the stairs. I'm in the space between your thoughts. I'm in the pause between your breaths. I'm the silence after the whistle. And you carry me with you, everywhere you go." I didn't sleep after that. I sat in the dark, listening. The cabin was quiet, the woods were quiet, but inside my head I heard it. 4 notes, up and down. I'm telling you this because I think I know what he is now. He's not a ghost, he's not a demon, he's a memory. A memory of a sound I heard when I was a child, a sound I've forgotten, a sound that's been trying to remind me of something. Something terrible. Something I did. I don't remember what it is. But every night, the whistling gets a little clearer. The whisper gets a little louder, and I get a little closer to remembering. I'm afraid of what will happen when I do. I'm going to stop writing now. The sun is setting. The cabin is getting dark, and I just heard it. From the corner of the room, 4 notes, up and down, then a whisper, then a laugh, then footsteps, coming closer. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to listen. Maybe tonight I'll remember. I hope I don't.